Greetings, folks, and welcome once again to Channel Other Doc. I'm Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and this is our mini-campaign of 50 Fathoms. This is a Savage Worlds game written by Shane Lacy Hensley and takes place in a pirate-themed fantasy realm. I just want to make sure I mention, as a reminder to folks, that this channel is still involved in a donation drive for the Bail Project. We are Team Phyllis. So you can follow that link in the chat or on the panel down below to go and check that out to see if you want to donate. The Bail Project gives bail assistance to protesters, something incredibly important right now. Also, I highly recommend folks check out Campaign Zero, which is an organization dedicated to ending police violence. Links for that are in the chat as well. Well, let us go around and say hi to everybody and get their characters out here, and we'll see what we're doing. We will start with Alyssa. Hello.
Hello. My name is Alyssa. I use she, her pronouns, and I play Perry, the semi-aquatic, luck-picking mammal of action, the Doreen scavenger.
Awesome. And now over to Jenn. Hello.
Hi, I'm Jenn. I use she/they pronouns. I play Marcel, which is a Haitian revolutionary beefcake. She's the muffle on the tea.
Excellent. And now over to Ernest. Hello.
Hello, I'm Ernest. I use he, him pronouns, and I play Dr. Elijah Stone, our resident curmudgeon.
Excellent. And now over to James. Hello.
Hey, I'm James, or Jimbeaux to my friends. I use he, him pronouns, and I am playing Kistris, the squid-headed weather mage of the group, and he's just so excited to be here.
Isn't he, though? Isn't he? And finally, over to Anna. Hello.
Hello, yes, my name is Anna, and I use she, they pronouns, and I am playing Maria, our unsuspecting time travel inquisitor who uses any pronouns.
Excellent. All right. And just as a reminder, like we do with most games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it, or put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. And finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much, then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. And with that, we shall rejoin our crew. The crew of the Reasonable, as they have gotten a job to go forth and check out an island known as the Isle of Gloom that they've been tasked to try to find and plunder, so that is something that I think is that the crew is kind of excited to do that. They have basically been they're in Burgundy Bay right now, and they're sort of they've had a they had a bit of a rocky encounter getting into Burgundy Bay because it seems that one of the members of the newly formed little pirate fleet, being put together by the infamous Crimson Carlisle, decided to break off and attack them when they were bringing in their what they'd salvaged from a wrecked galleon not too long ago, and Carlisle himself came out and punished them for that. Then they went into port. They went and they talked to a Cerulean antique dealer, who they managed to get some information from about a device that they had found some time ago, a little while ago, that looked rather odd. It was a something that was kind of clock-like and very old, and that dealer told them that that was actually a part of an ancient Masakwani civilization, the Serluan Empire, I believe it was called. He says, pulling up his notes. Serluan, yes, there they are. So that was a thing that they were that they found out about there. That some of them knew about it already. It was just basically an ancient empire that had like a sort of an Atlantis theme to it almost. Lost long ago. And apparently it had relations with the Ugaks, whose homeland at this point is Torath Ka. This was a thing that had been kind of unheard of, but it's a thing only rumored. But they had apparently some advanced practices with perhaps magic and technology. That at least that's what's been rumored. And so apparently, there have been rumors of this island floating around recently, and there was, as it turned out, a job available to go and find it, because on some ship's rudders that were recovered from the McBride expedition, was an expedition that the East India Company sent out to Torath Ka. There was on a ship that had been that did not make it. They'd recovered the rudders from that ship, which is a document that you keep on board a ship to make a record of where everything is that you find, basically. So that having been brought in and been studied now by a friend of the party, Mad Maps, an old cartographer, they've got a pretty good idea of where this island is. It's rumored to be... There are a lot of rumors about the island. They say it moves. They say that it has fire-breathing sea lions on it. They say that it changes the way that it looks. But it has not yet been found. So, they reluctantly, their contact did agree to give them the job as long as they, tried to keep it quiet. The three pirates that run this island already know about it, but they're still trying to keep things on the down low. And the job was accepted. So, before you launch off to search to do this search, also before you did that, Perry was pulled aside by their fellow Doreen, who happens to be one of these three pirate rulers. And one of the members of the coalition, and just basically explained to them, you're going to find some names you recognize. Be on the lookout, please, and if they're alive, bring them back alive, because there's a chance. So you folks have come in to see your friend Maps, who has been authorized to give you the information about where this place is, and I just want to know if there's anything you want to do with him before you get underway.
I don't know that this would be with him specifically, but I think Maria probably wants to just compare whatever maps we get from Maps. and with the sort of notes and findings and things that she's had in the past, the other like fragments and documents about this island, see if there's anything that connects them. Where does that fit in her mental scheme of things?
Sure. Go ahead and do a research roll for me, and we'll see what we have this looking like.
That's kind of my thing. Let's find research.
Research. Oh, that's very good. Okay.
8.
You got a couple of raises. So yeah. So he's basically sort of kind of, you came and he was sort of pointing at roughly where it is, and on the map that he had found, and he said that this probably going to be at the south end of these of the islands that are off the west coast of Torath Ka. And as with the speed of your ship, he's expecting that journey to take roughly 4 days. That's just under its normal power and without anything messing up. Of course, you have to be a little careful because to not run into the very large sea animals that are out there that kind of guard the mainland of Torath Ka. But since you're gonna, if you keep to the west side of the islands, you'll probably be fine. Probably. Yeah. So that kind of does. First off, Maria, that does match up with what you have. Or it makes sense. You had kind of, you're sort of figuring out that you kind of now have it in your head what you think a sort of a path for the island would have been if at one point it was up at the south end of the Kirin Sea.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's down here. You compare that with, you compare that with a couple of different things that you have and that you've just collected over the last few months since you actually grabbed this object, and you got 2 raises here, so a realization has struck you. It's kind of interesting, and that is, if all of your information is correct, it's been going in a path around Torath Ka. Over a very long period of time. Just a very long, very wide circle around it. Which actually gives you a makes you, and you realize that you now have, you think, the calculations down that you might be able to pinpoint where it is right now. Because of this. So you think you actually can, you've got, like, you're looking at your map and you're like, wait, yes, I can figure this out. And it's going to take you a little while, but you're going to be, you'll have plenty of time on the ship to kind of finish working it out. Is there anything else anyone wanted to do, basically either with maps or before you disembark, or before you embark? Words, Jim, words. Embark. Embark is when you leave. Disembark is when you get off the boat.
Just chat briefly with Maps about his grandkids, be social.
Yeah, he has, he had at last count about 13 grandchildren. And So he talks. Obviously none of them are here, but none of them are on Charybdis. But he will talk about them for ages, and how there are. Some of them seem to have an interest in. Most of them seem to have an interest in travel, and they've been going all over the place. But he's really he was very happy with the direction they were going when he last saw them, which was a little while ago. While Kistris is chatting, I will just go ahead and see. You see. Perry, I think you've been looking around in his as you're in his office, and you see the rudders are here. That he's been referencing. He actually has them open, kind of, on a table, sort of to the side. If you would like to look at them.
Why, yes, I would.
Yeah. He's been told to let you folks look at the rudders if you want to, so that's perfectly fine. And Maria already did. But as you are looking through, and you get basically to the part about the island, that supposedly, and that at some point later on, little quotes, Isle of Gloom ? And these sort of vague descriptions, it looked like is this island that they were coming at through the mists. That this bank of mists on the over in these western islands, and they saw these. It looked like these things moving around that they thought at first maybe were sea lions or something, but then there was like a gout of flame coming up, and it was really weird. And there were a couple of Doreen they sent out to take a look. But they had to. While they were there, that's why they were able to get the detail about the sea lions. Actually, that's where that came from. And those Doreen's names are Ona and Chav. And these are names that you do in fact recognize. These are Doreen associated with your pod. You may determine what your relationships to them are, and in fact, what pronouns they have and everything. I haven't determined that.
Good to know.
But they were on that ship. The rudder actually ends not long after seeing that island. That's like the last thing that's mentioned in the rudders. The last thing they recorded. So presumably it was not long after that the ship wrecked somewhere. The reports, and even maps will tell you folks that the reports that came in from Carlisle, because Carlisle was the one that was Carlisle's fleet that found the wreck, the wreck was actually closer to the shore of Torethka, so it didn't get far after that, and it looked like it had been torn apart by something.
Okay.
The rudders also mentioned, by the way, a rather significant storms that they encountered in the mists, which is part of the reason why they didn't stay there very long. But they did just manage to see this island, and they're like, okay, hey, well, we've got a few minutes here. Go out and take a look. Was there anything else anyone wanted to do before heading off?
Nope, just kind of tapping my foot and waiting for Kistris to lead us into certain doom.
Excellent.
Don't worry, I'll make sure we have a place charted out, but he is just going to make sure that we get there quickly and without wasting too much sail, but we'll work together.
I mean, Doctor, if you want me to become captain of the ship, I think we'll need to talk to the actual captain first. Not that I would deny you that vote or opinion, but there are procedures.
Yep, procedures. Well, let's all just walk into Gloom Island of Gloom, whatever it is.
I mean, unless you wish to mutiny.
That's the word. I was going to say there's a technical term for procedures, but...
No, I'm too old for that.
Nah, I just don't care. As long as we get there in one piece, or mostly in one piece.
So let's go with that.
So one thing I will say that has happened on Burgundy Bay is it takes you a day or two to get everything together. During that time, Marcel, Captain MacIver has asked you to sit in as she's sort of interviewing candidates, trying to find to maybe hire a first mate, and none of the applicants. Seem like they're going to be... these are just people who want a job. These are not people who have any experience and look like they're going to try to rob the crew blind, that kind of deal. Or some of the ones that... and so, she's just sort of sitting there, and you watch her sit there through it, and, she basically, after, like, the fifth or sixth person that you folks go and see, she sort of will kind of turn to you and say, "Listen, we're running out of time. We're just gonna run out of time. We're just gonna get going. But if you can help me out on this trip out there, I would appreciate it. Have you thought about the position, maybe?"
It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, it's... but I want to just say that of the folks keeping it together, especially coming into port, I noticed this, but then, as things have been going, you're more together than a lot of the folks we got.
I don't think that's saying much, but thank you.
Yeah, that's fair. Just think about it, all right?
All right.
And the journey begins. So everything is in order as you take off to sea. Now, something I want to find out, though, is... So, Kistris, are you going to be trying to help? As we...
Well, I'm always trying to help.
Well, yeah, that's true. Are you going to be using... let me put it more specifically. Are you going to be using magic to make boat go faster?
I mean... That's my job aboard the ship.
This is true.
Of course I'm going to do that.
All right.
I'm not a slacker.
So this will tell us kind of how many days we shave off of this trip. So go ahead and, if you would, just make just a single spell casting roll. You don't have to spend power points on this one because we're abstracting it. Okay. So you got a raise. So this spell, let's see. I think I've got it right here, actually. Yes, there it is. Zephyr. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one.
Automatically increases its travel speed by 1, 2 with a raise. Okay. So that means that instead of three of these tiny little parallelograms per day, you can go 5 of these tiny little parallelograms per day. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you're going to get there in approximately 2.5 days. Now instead of the 4 days, so that's going to be quite a bit faster as you travel out.
I would like to keep eyes out just in case there's any sign that we are coming up on the floating island faster than we anticipated, or it looks like it's changing direction in some way. Like maybe it has made impact with something off in the distance, just so that we don't totally lose the trail of where it's going if it suddenly changes tack.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so within the first day you start to see the islands off the port bow, and beyond it, Torath Ka. It's kind of when you get down around here, around just off the tip of the southern islands. Maria, you figure it's got to be very close to there, maybe a little bit further southeast. And once you've pinpointed it, based on how fast you're going, and you're continuously making adjustments as necessary, or just on each day of this trip. Go ahead then, and those of you who you have a lookout, but anyone else who would like to help may make a notice roll as you are coming out here.
Let us see.
That's very, yes. That's very good. Okay.
Oh, not bad.
All right.
Oh, wow. Then when you scroll up and see that someone got an 18, I was like...
So everyone who's noticing did at least get a raise, but Dr. Stone does not see it, but that's okay. Dr. Stone, I'm guessing, is busy below decks for a lot of this voyage.
Damn kids out here. I should probably just write a memoir before I go.
Probably should. Let's see. So, what everyone's going to kind of see, or rather, what Maria and Kistris and Marcel are going to see, is they're going to spot the just a bit away this area of mist with dark clouds over it. That's out here. What Marcel, who got multiple raises, is going to see is that you realize you should probably something that probably affects how you might want to approach this thing is that you can also see Torath Ka from here. It's still a decent ways away. It's like at the rate you're traveling, it's still going to be it's less than a day away, but you can see it. You are noticing that the water over there is particularly choppy. and that there's like you spot so there's sea life out there, and among them there's you notice a really, really big fin that you can see even from this distance, not far from Torath Ka. It's not anywhere near where the island is, or presumably where this patch of mist, is. But you notice it, and see it's probably actually, from what you can tell, and again this is incredibly far away, but from what you can tell, it is probably devouring other sea animals. So it is, this you think is one of the islands. You heard tell that Torath Ka has guardians. There was this rumor that they have these walking gods that they sometimes call them. These you're not sure if they're like deities that are these big animals they decided to start worshiping, or if they're these big animals they have in their lore or something that they just happen to identify certain big animals with. But you think that's probably one of them out there. But it doesn't seem to be at all interested in the island. So that at least is a comfort. You also basically, as you kind of have been looking, because you got an 18, you are seeing that from the sort of the trail, the way things are going, you think you can kind of spot, sort of as you get closer through the through this thing, that you think you can barely spot a landmass through these. You see there are storms going on, and there's a landmass, and you think you can identify which part of it is beach and which part of it is rock before you go in, which is probably going to help.
I would like to relay that to the captain, and I guess if we should prepare to maybe engage with this thing.
Yeah, so the captain is gets makes sure that everyone is getting ready. And they're now on the alert, and they realize, okay, we want to hit the island from the southern side, not the side, maybe the southwestern side, not the side that is closest to the horrible giant animals.
The big monster.
Big monster, yeah. So
I don't think Dr. Stone would ever forgive us if we didn't warn some people in advance not to go swimming, so...
Yeah. So that gets around the boat. Don't go swimming right now. Let's get to the island first. So you approach from the southeast, but as you are basically find you're starting to head directly into this mist. Storms raging. And so they're trying to batten everything down and prepare to go through. There is a mechanic for this. So I would like someone to roll a d6 plus 3 for me, please. Okay, 8. That's a lot. Okay. All right. I am now going to draw a card to determine the storm's severity. Yeah, you want me to get a high card. Shall I shuffle ahead of time? Why not? Alright, here we go. I have drawn a 7. Okay. Not as bad as it could be. As it turns out. Not as bad as it could be. Let me actually go to the right page here. I was on the wrong page. There it is. Yeah. So yeah, you see, you basically, as you go in, it's going to. So the storm's going to last for it's going to take you a little while to get through. It's probably going to it's going to take you. It's going to take you a couple of hours, at least. It's actually. Oh, these are 30-minute increments. Good Lord, yeah, so it's actually more like 4 hours. It's going to take you to actually get all the way through this storm. So there is a significant amount of running around that has to happen now. And what I'm going to do here is say that before I roll anything, anyone who would like to help may at this time make a boating roll.
I don't have boating, so I won't.
Right,
I am unable to make that boating roll.
No worries.
You don't want me trying to make a boating roll. You just,
All
I was
right.
about to say I can make a swimming roll, but if we're already in that
wait.
situation.
Are there a bunch of us on the boat who can't boat?
Correct.
I mean, I can boat. My job is not boating.
Correct.
You get my meaning.
We don't have degrees in boating, okay?
Did not go to the boat university. That's all right.
I thought you had degrees in everything.
No, only in terms of latitude and longitude, my friend.
That sounds like boating to me.
Okay, so we have basically 2 successes and 2 raises from Marcel and Perry, who are helping to keep things lashed down, keep things from falling off as you're coming through. The storm, the moment you get into this cloud, it's like, sheets of sideways rain are coming at you. Lightning is going about, and but you're able to keep people fairly safe. I now need to make a couple of rolls, because there is. Because the captain has to roll as you're going through here to see if they're okay. But I just need to see what we got here. And this is at a penalty, but I'm just going to press this button. Oh, that's not very good. Let's see. That's better, but not good enough because this penalty is -2. Okay. Let me do a couple more of these. No. Okay, well, that's 1 success. Two successes. 3 successes. 3 successes total out of the 8 units that were time units we're dealing with here. Okay. So that being the case, Do. I'm going to presume... Now, let me first ask, is everyone tethered?
No.
You easily could have by this point, but I just wanted to know, have you... I know that those of you who were working on this, at least, I know Perry and Marcel probably would have known enough to tether themselves. And to try to help with some others, but... If you decide you're not tethered.
I think Maria might have known, but she might be distracted. Because this whole, like, mythical island is kind of the thing that she's been looking for ever since she came here.
Larger and larger the closer you get.
Yeah.
As you see it just over the cluttered bowsprit with all of the things that have been attached to it. You can see it. You can see it through the mist. It's there. Please make an agility roll.
Did you say agility?
I did say agility.
Okay. Oh no! I think I'd like to use a Benny to re-roll that, please.
Well, four is a success.
Oh, it is? Okay,
yes,
cool.
So you're okay. Anyone else who's not tethered, please make an agility. Oh, holy crap!
Oh.
Well then.
Oh, that's a real, like, someone forgot to put out the boat deck slippery when wet sign.
Yep.
Well, yeah, the whole boat fell on me, apparently.
So,
just need to ask, Kistris, are you...
full time to come upstairs, Doctor.
Now, let's see here. Can't you make this boat any less... Oh!
Let me just see a thing here. Unfortunately, I was not looking at the thing. Let me look at the thing. There we go. The thing is here. All right. There we are. Hello. Awesome. Let me go ahead and fix that real quick. Oh, actually, okay. No, it'll fix itself in just a moment. Hello, hi, everyone. Yeah, there we go.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. No problem. So yeah, basically, James, I'd like you to make an agility roll to see if you are staying on the boat.
Agility, you say?
Indeed, you may if you are involved with the if you are doing anything with the rigging right now. You may use your rope monkey for this, so you can add +2 if you want. Awesome, you're good. Okay, so I would like to invite folks to guess who's about to go for a swim.
Oh, eat me.
I was gonna say Perry, but
I'm about to go rescue some.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perry's
I'm an aquatic doctor, right?
Perry's going for a swim by choice. Elijah is not.
As you are, so here's what happens. As you are sailing through this thing, it takes a moment. Well, it takes a moment. It takes like 4 hours to get through this thing. As you are getting close to the to the edge of the storm. It looks like, the boat's been taking a significant beating as you've been going through. Lightning has actually hit one of the some of the rigging, and some things have come loose. There is a point where, as you're getting really, really close, something slams into the side of the boat, And just as lightning comes down, you see the captain who's by the wheel. Essentially, they dodges to avoid something, and then a timber falls down, and just sort of whacks her in the side. You actually can't even see fully what's happened here because of the low visibility. But I think it's that she basically gets hit and tumbles down the steps from the stern castle. And I think that's probably, as you hear her crying out when Dr. Stone comes up to help her, and a massive wave comes up and carries him off the side.
Ah, don't call me Stone for nothing!
So, what's everyone doing?
I know the Lord. I'm gonna unfasten myself and dive in after him.
I am going to try and keep the ship going in the direction that we want it to through the storm.
Okay.
And not run over Elijah, hopefully.
I'm going to be throwing Perry a rope as she goes over the side, just so it'll be easier to get someone back up again.
Awesome.
I would just like to make sure nobody else goes over, so to secure everyone else.
Okay. I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to deal out cards for this. You're not fighting against anybody, but...
Just nature.
Just nature.
I wonder how that's going to go. People fighting nature never turned out terribly, did it?
Stupid nature. Okay. So we actually start with the Eight of Hearts. Kistris, so you are grabbing a rope and you're throwing it to Perry to try to help out. Go ahead and make for me an athletics roll. You can. Again, you have Rope Monkey. You can go ahead and add +2 to this. Okay, excellent. You got a raise. So that means that Perry, when you're down there, you're going to be able to take a +2. So excellent. Perry, as it turns out, is next. So you grab the rope, dive over the side, and you're down there, and you're going to be down there swimming to try to find Elijah. So, okay. You can hold your breath for 15 minutes.
Hey.
Which is awesome. So, I think what I'm going to ask for as you dive in is first a notice roll to see if you can spot him. You see exactly where he is. So he's floating down, drifting down peacefully. Probably not that peacefully. But what does Perry see Elijah doing as he is there in the water? Oh, you're muted.
Flailing poorly. I might actually be swimming away from the surface because I can't swim because I'm a landlubber. Yes. Nothing that is helpful, obviously.
Excellent. Thankfully we haven't gotten to your card yet, so Perry actually might be able to beat you to in spite of yourself.
Knock him out first.
All right, so Perry, I need you to make an athletics roll. This is a swimming-based athletics roll. You're going to get a +2 from the rope that you have.
Okay.
to see if you're able to grab hold of Elijah. Okay, excellent. So you got a raise, which so that plus 2 helps. No, it's 6 plus 2. Oh no, it makes it 10. So yeah, no, you've got it. You manage to grab Stone by the legs, and you're able to turn and start swimming back up as this happens.
This is what I'm good at.
Absolutely. So you are swimming. You're pulling Elijah. You are being pulled back toward the surface. Is there anything in particular you would like to do whilst this is happening?
Well, I guess, was I stunned when I hit the water? I mean, I botched originally, so
yeah, go ahead and make a spirit roll for me to see if I think you probably were shaken when you hit the water.
Yeah, probably. Let's see here.
Oh dear. Okay, yeah. So you are still.
Why?
Yeah, you're like you're kind of sucking in water here almost, but you know not to, to hold your breath. You should know that at least. You're a doctor. I'm going to give you that. But you are you're not doing great. So you're just basically flailing about whilst Perry is pulling you up. But otherwise not doing much. We come down to Marcel. Marcel, you're trying to make sure nobody else gets swept overboard. Are you doing this mostly by? Are you like? Are you? How are you doing this? So tell me what it is we see Marcel doing.
Well, everyone, they tied themselves down, yeah? That's what they did?
Hopefully. well, apparently not everyone, because...
I haven't had a turn yet.
So, whoever, I would look to see, who has tied themselves to the boat, and if they haven't done that, to help them do that.
Okay. So are you actually just physically going over and doing it, or are you yelling at them to tie themselves down, or what are you doing?
Probably physically doing it, because I guess, I would assume that they didn't know better if one person, already got swept overboard.
Okay, cool. Go ahead then and make an athletics roll for me.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, you got a 4. You succeeded. That's a success. So you're barely able to get it, grab someone before they go, lash them down. Now we are down to Maria, who's trying to steer us out of this.
Yep, that's what I'd like to do. Ideally, I'd like to do that without having the boat somehow, run over Elijah and Perry in the water. That would be good. But as we've established, I don't really have a degree in boating.
So this is a boating roll.
Yep.
So if you don't have that, then you are making an unskilled roll.
Yep.
Excellent. Let me just take a look here. Did you get snake eyes? No, you did not. It was a 1 and a 2. Okay.
Correct.
So you can use a Benny on this if you wish.
I'd like to, because I don't want to be as good at boating as Elijah is at staying on a boat.
Okay.
So let's use a Benny.
Okay. There you go. Excellent.
Wow.
You're able to just sort of the wheel's trying to turn on you, and you grab it, and you're like, no!
I'm imagining it's really wet and kind of slippery, so it's like dung 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 against my hands until I finally manage to grab a hold of it and stop it from totally veering off track. Finally
punch through the far side, and the sea goes calm completely around you. The rain's no longer pouring on you. So you come through, and at this point, Perry surfaces with Elijah up up on the water. Boat's rocking a bit. And folks are starting to run out. They're you've got your rope, but folks are throwing you another more ropes and such to help you get up onto the boat. But thankfully Elijah was not under there long enough to inhale much in the way of water. So you're okay. But it's that could have been really bad. But you get through, and you see before you an island, which I am now going to show everyone, and hope that this works. So, before you is this island. You're actually kind of out here. Oddly enough, you were approaching this from the direction where that actually could be your boat. There on the map. There are you see basically these. There's sun coming down through the center of this. Apparently, the top of the mist. You don't have that so much. Let me also fix everyone's cameras here a little bit. But you see this place. And as you're kind of taking stock of everything that's been going on, you note that you do have some injuries, a few injuries among the crew, including the captain, who has had a very large shaft of wood go through her leg. So she is bleeding profusely. Some of the other folks are a bit battered and bruised. What would you folks like to do?
Tell Elijah to, go look at our captain. Please.
Yeah.
All right, Doctor.
Yeah. Elijah, I think you're muted. Possibly. Or I didn't. No, I can't hear you. Let me see here. Okay. So yeah. Whilst that is happening, while we're figuring that out, and hopefully we'll get his connections sorted. So yeah, we're going to presume that Elijah is going and looking at the captain. What is everyone else doing?
I think Maria's gonna look and see if that shark is still following us or circling in the water nearby. Considering that we just dropped 2 people off the side of our ship during a storm in its habitat, and now she is very concerned.
That is a concerning thing. That is a very concerning thing. Yeah. Go ahead and do a notice roll for me then.
Notice. Let's do it. 6.
Okay. From what you're able to see, and you can't see, you're now on the other side of these raging storms, so you can't see Toreth Ka very well from here, but you don't see any signs of any beasties out in the water out there. So it looks okay. Ernest, can you hear us okay? No. Let me just check this out. Oh, I think I heard you there. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't know what happened. Yeah. If you're still dealing with the captain situation, Elijah will try and shake himself off and run up and see what's the matter.
Okay, awesome. So this is if you've got healing, we can use that, or if you've got anything special, yeah.
Yeah, somebody give me my bag. Give me my bag.
The cabin boy runs down. Hensley runs down below and grabs your bag. He's like, "Oh God, no!" Here, and he sort of stumbles over himself, getting back up on deck, and he's like, "Here you go, doctor."
Hensley, it's the most useful thing you've probably ever done.
Don't listen to him, Hensley. It wasn't that useful.
Alright, I will make this healing roll.
Righto. Okay, you got a 6. So you're able to stop the bleeding, but you know that the captain's going to need to stay off the leg for a while. This is going to take you're able to bandage it up and get it to the point that the damage is such that the best thing, and you're thinking this kind of as you look at it, the best thing's going to be for her to stay on the boat at this point, just because it's I mean, she could try to come, but it's going to it's best if she doesn't move too much.
Captain, I know you're not going to want to hear this. You're going to have to stay on the
What?
You gotta stay on the boat.
Oh, come on, I got it. And she starts trying to get up, and she's like,
don't.
And she's like, damn it.
You can't be more stubborn than I hate boats. Now, come on.
All right, you got a fair point there. All right, well, get me somewhere I can at least see what's going on. And I think so. You sort of are kind of trying to sort of help the captain. Captain is probably needs to be at this point is gonna need some recovery time. Probably bed rest would be good, but you can at least for the time being she can kind of she sort of insists on sort of sitting somewhere on the deck just so that she can see what's happening.
I know you're not gonna listen to a damn word I say, but you should really be below deck, resting.
All right, look, if it gets too much, I'll go down. All right, I'll go down below deck. But come this far already. Sort of looking at the crew's kind of got some betters and bruises. They're not none of them seem to be as bad off as the captain is right now. But she just sort of looks up. She says, "All right, see if you can find I can't see a damn thing from it. See if you can find a good port and take us in, alright?
Well, Marcel, what was that you were saying about it being a lot of responsibility?
I mean, I guess I don't.
These things
I
have
have
a
a
way of
choice
choosing
now.
us. Exactly.
But I think it's what I need to do right by the crew.
Well, as we know, you certainly don't want me driving this boat anywhere, so I can get you where you need to go, but don't put me in charge of driving it.
Okay. So I'll steer the boat.
Okay. Where do you want it? Where would you like the boat to go?
Where do we need to go, actually?
Well, you've got this island in front of you that will probably is looking like you're not sure what's on it, but it's the presumably the idea at this point in the salvage game is to go on and see if there's anything worth salvaging.
You did say that there was like a sandy beach area that we could see nearby where maybe we could drop anchor there and then send a party ashore.
You can do that if you like. So yeah, on this map, and this is me having just started learning Incarnate. These areas out here are the beach. The green area that is forest. There are a lot of tropical trees here. There are some fairly steep hills in the middle here. That you can see from out here. The gray is rocky places.
Okay. Yeah, I'll land us on the beach, and then I guess we can work our way inland.
Okay. Any particular part of the beach? So that you've got beach around here. You've got a little bit, and there's small bits of beach up here and up here. But do you want to? Where would you like to land?
At the river mouth.
Like down here?
Yeah.
Okay. I know this is going to sound like a kind of a strange question, but do you want to land on like the east side or the west side of the river?
The west side.
Okay. So yeah, you're able to steer the boat. I'm not going to make you make a boating roll at this point, but you're able you go in and find a point, basically where you can drop anchor. It's kind of hard to tell how deep you are, so you just go for like a safety. So I presume what you're going to do is drop anchor offshore, and then take take a boat in. The interesting thing here is that you would expect that there is something weird going on, because it's like there's a major drop after the beach goes into the water. So there's not really, when you're approaching a lot of these islands, it's like the land comes up shallower and shallower underneath you as you get closer. So you don't have to throw the anchor down as far. But here, you don't seem to reach that point, which is kind of odd. It doesn't seem to. There's no sign of it coming up any closer. There's land down there, so you can drop the anchor, and it'll hit land, and you'll be able to get in, to disembark. But yeah, this doesn't seem to. It's got a very sudden drop off, basically, from this beach.
Perry, do you think it's weird that the island ends so abruptly? Would you be able to check that out?
I'm muted.
That does seem unusual. I could go down and take a look, though.
Yes, something like this could certainly explain why people have been trying to map it for so long, yet never coming up with one consistent navigational chart or survey of any kind. And she just sort of like opens a book and kind of like making some notes and theories and stuff in it.
Mistress is looking over her shoulder at the book.
Oh, please, come. Just don't worry about it. Stand next to me.
Okay.
Yeah, Doc Stone is just making sure everybody's all right. Cleaning off his hands as best he can and just shaking his head. Just started.
It's okay, Doctor. We've made land. You won't have to be on the ship.
Yo, I got a question actually. All that air you blow around, you can't make the ship like fly, nothing, just float over the water, off the water. No.
I've never seen a ship fly before.
I haven't either. But I'm just asking,
No.
Work on that.
I don't think I would care for a flying ship.
Yeah, many people have tried. There was this mad Italian inventor. Well, your past, my future, came up with all sorts of machines trying to make ships fly, vehicles fly. Nothing ever came of it. I doubt anything ever will.
Can't we use just wind magic to make? Can we fly our ship? Is that possible?
That's why I want to know. See, all these wiggly fingers running around with all this whoosh and gusting and no flying boat.
Elijah, for someone who is usually so sensible and down to earth, I have no idea where you got this notion.
I just went in the water, the place I never want to be. I went past the horizon of the water, into it.
But, Elijah, a doctor, if we were a flying ship and you had fallen off the side, you would have still eventually been in the water.
We could have flown away from the storm.
That is sensible.
Mm-hmm.
We could have, but if you were to go overboard on a flying ship, it's also entirely possible that you would not survive the fall.
Falling is fine, it's the landing that concerns me.
It concerned that inventor too.
I'm just shaken up. We just got here. The captain's in some kind of way, and I don't like it.
Would you like me to see what is below the surface here?
Yeah, I think that's a good start to figuring out the secret of this island.
Well, we're certainly going to find out one way or another, so...
Perry hops over the side of the boat again.
Okay. You dive down, and what you're going to see is that this island sort of drops away. The land does seem to go straight down for a ways, for a little bit of a ways, and then it just sort of stops. This island is quite literally floating, but it's got a very large landmass underneath it, but it's not attached to anything.
Okay. I will swim back up to the surface and report my findings. This landmass has no, how you say, root. It's like an iceberg.
Or in this case, a landberg.
I've never seen such a thing.
Did it seem as though it was tethered to anything, or was it just propelling itself around of its own free will?
I did not see any sort of tether. It seems to be floating, but who knows? It's a large landmass, so I only saw a very small portion.
Seeing as the captain is staying aboard ship along with some of the other crew, might I suggest that the ship follow the island, so when we wish to leave, we don't suddenly realize the ship was many miles away.
If we leave the ship here, we may not be able to find it.
Exactly.
Island runs over the ship.
You can do that. You leave kind of a skeleton crew on board, at least, to kind of...
Just make sure that we are staying apace with this.
If the island's moving, which you can't even perceptibly see it moving, but if it is, it's not moving very fast. So I presume then you're not actually going to drop anchor. You're just going to just kind of hang out, have the boat in.
Yeah.
Sure.
We have to drop anchor.
Yeah. Okay.
We will just drift.
So, how many folks? So I'm going to presume then you're going to get into one of the smaller boats and take it in. Are you bringing anyone with you? You could probably bring 1 or 2 people if you wanted to. But it's up to you.
You with the red sash. Come on.
I really I really want to bring, what is his name, Hansel?
Hensley?
Hensley, thank you. I was
boy?
like, I really want to bring him. Can we bring him?
Yeah, you can bring him.
Time for you to get some experience, young man. You're coming with us.
Okay. Yeah, most of the crew is Masquani. You have most of the crew is the captain, and most of the rest of the crew is Masquani. Hensley is Masquani. Your Super Clyde is human, and you have a lookout who's an Itani.
Is a Red Sash human or Masquani?
Red Sash is I'm thinking is a Masquani sailor.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Whom you may name if you wish.
Oh no, if you name them, you get attached to them.
Yeah, that's true.
Just name him Expendable.
No, remember Masquani naming rules. They have to start, the last name starts with the same letter as the first name. They use the Marvel Comics rule for that.
His name is Cook Cutter.
Cook Cutter. Okay.
Its middle initial is E.
Sadness. I feel as though humans want to make his middle initial E, but he doesn't have one.
They want to. It's not.
Alrighty. So, are you folks then disembarking?
Yes.
All right.
I would like to note that Maria is bringing the mysterious piece of antediluvian technology with us, just in case we manage to find whatever larger piece it is a part of, or we need it for reasons unknown.
Cool. Absolutely, that'll work. Okay. So you make your you make your way in the boat, heading toward this island, and it is as you're getting close to land that you can. Well, you're probably closer to the river here, but you can see in the hill. You see the trees, and towering just a little bit above the trees, you do see something that looks like these very high hills with something on top of them. It's like you think there's a structure of some kind in there.
Kistris has a spyglass, so he'll take it out and see if he can get any more acuity on it.
Sure. Do notice for me, please. And then if you get a bonus for the spyglass, you utilize that as well. Okay. So, yeah, what you're gonna see, there's something. There's something on top of, like, is this big central kind of rocky hill that looks like some kind of building. That looks like maybe some kind of temple. It's hard to see. But I think now is the time when we are going to go ahead and take our break. As we are actually at the midpoint. So we shall be back in just a few minutes. See you shortly. Welcome to the break. I have Lindy here to talk to us a bit. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming and having a little chat with us.
Thanks for having me.
I just wanted to sort of dig in and find out. You do quite a bit of RPG streaming and what have you nowadays, yes. And I just wanted to find out what started the whole thing. How did you get into tabletop gamery?
So as of now, I'm an addict, but it started. One of my coworkers said, "Hey, do you want to play a D&D game?" And I said, "Yes, I have wanted to for probably a decade now, but the timing has never worked out." And so we had the same shifts. So we had the same days off, so we were able to make a group. I was hooked instantly, and then when I moved to a different state, I didn't have my group anymore, so I went on to Roll20, joined the first random group I saw, and I'm still playing with them 4 years later. And then at some point, I was Twitch streaming video games. It's like, might as well just put the D&D show on there as well, since we're playing anyways. All I'll do is just throw it on OBS. And that's basically what got me started, is me going, might as well try this.
Nice. So what did you start out playing initially? What kind of character?
I started, my first ever character was a half-elf bard named Alora, and it was a very typical bard, but her instrument was the bagpipes, because she was adopted by a dwarven clan. And I loved her. She's very near and dear to my heart.
I think one of the happiest things for me that has come about from the whole being able to play musical instruments in these games thing has been the addition of the bagpipes to the list of available instruments.
Yes, I can't play any musical instruments in real life, so I was like, I'm going to play the bagpipes, the best instrument, as a bard. Also, my DM wouldn't let me have a hurdy-gurdy, so he's like, no, you're not doing a hurdy-gurdy. So I was like, bagpipes? And he's like, fine.
Just the sheer idea. I'm trying to think how that even just as a bard, I guess when you're playing bagpipes, is there
Not very stealthy.
It's like because I'm to a certain extent, I seem to recall that when they were used, sort of initially, it was kind of to put fear into the enemy, so I'm just trying to figure out how that
lots
goes
of bagpipes, and she used limericks to dish out her bardic inspiration. So there was much fear had by all.
That's just too good. That's just way too good. But you, I will briefly diverge to mention that I've had like a couple of characters now who ended up with bagpipes, and it was I think there is one that was that I never played. I played as in sort of an off-stream game where he wasn't even a bard. He just happened to, I took a background where he had the ability to play a musical instrument. He was a monk, and so I just based him off that. Have you seen that heavy metal bagpiper on YouTube? Yeah, I based him off that guy, pretty much. And he just basically went around being as annoying as possible to people and then beating them up. That was essentially
it works. It's very effective.
But so you got into streaming. It sounds like it was more sort of a natural progression from the fact that you'd already been doing video game streaming and you'd already been doing stuff over Roll20. So what were the first sort of streams you remember doing that were RPG-ish?
We were halfway through the very first campaign I was ever GMing. We were halfway through Curse of Strahd, and I said, no one's gonna watch anyways. We don't have to start a new campaign. We'll just pick up halfway in, and if people have questions, I'll do my best to answer them. But people watched it. I was like, this is weird. Why are people watching this? We've got our gunslinger out here seducing every hag in Barovia, and why are people here? But we had a blast. My goal was just to have fun with my friends, and if people hung out and watched and had fun too, that was just a bonus. So that was kind of just how the first campaign happened. And then after that, I was like, okay, maybe I should make an overlay for this. And the second campaign was Out of the Abyss.
Nice. Now I'm actually not as familiar with what's in Out of the Abyss. Curse of Strahd I actually played a little bit of once. But is that what's Out of the Abyss about? If you want to talk about
Underdark. You're basically kidnapped and dragged down to the Underdark, and the Abyss kind of ruptures and opens up a bit and starts pouring out into the Underdark, and you're like, oh no, demons! And you have to figure out a way to get the characters invested enough to go back into the Underdark after they escape to slay the demons. In my opinion, not the best module, but I had it. I'd gotten it for Christmas, and so damn it, I was going to run it. And we had fun, but we definitely enjoyed Curse of Strahd more, I think.
So what approach do you usually take when you start adapting modules for use in your campaigns? Do you like just do them point for point, or do you do more of the Cuisinart method? What do you do?
So I read through the whole book first. That's at least what I like to do, and then I go, okay, what is my group just not going to buy into? Because I've been playing with the same group for 4 years now, so I'm pretty familiar with what they're gonna hate and what they're gonna love. So I'll go through and I'll take out anything I know they're just not gonna be interested or not gonna like, and I'll tweak things a little bit and be like, oh, I think they'd think an aboleth in this lake would be really cool. And just I keep the main overarching stuff, and I keep a lot of the same things, but I really only read through it once and then skim just before session, so it's very improv heavy. Even though we are following the main plot and quest line of the book, there's going to be a lot of stuff in NPCs that may not be in the book or have changed severely from the book. We just have fun, so that's what's important.
Awesome, excellent. I think we're gonna talk more about the various different shows that you've participated in a little bit in a separate one of these interviews. But in the meantime, if folks want to find your stuff online, where should they go?
Okay, so they can follow me online at LaughLoveLindy on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, etc. Mostly Twitter and Twitch. I'm behind on YouTube, and I have a feeling I will perpetually be behind on YouTube. But all the past stuff's on there for the most part, so check that out.
Being behind on YouTube is a definite mood. I can definitely identify with that, as are, I'm sure, plenty of the folks who watch this channel. But awesome. Well, folks, thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you next time. Farewell. We have returned. Hello. And, our crew is now coming up on this island. You land your boat. And you see there is some degree of jungle ahead of you. There is basically you have sort of it's very very sort of tropical looking sort of beach jungle. And the river that flows in. What would you like to do?
Well, I mean, obviously secure the boat, but during that, kind of point out the direction I was looking before and say, there appears to be some sort of structure up there. It looks like perhaps a temple of some sort. We should go check it out.
Certainly seems promising, and she'll go ahead and consult the various packets of maps and manuscript paraphernalia to see if anybody has, like, this is the way to the secret temple at the center of the island!
Nothing like that, unfortunately.
Darn! Always worth a try. Always.
Quite that
Written
direct.
in that tone of voice.
With a giant red X, like, all over the page. Yeah.
Yeah, not so much. Not so much one of those, but yeah, it's a thing.
I'll do some inference instead. That'll work too.
Yeah, sure.
Is there any, like, wildlife or plant life that we should be on the lookout for or, like, concerned about?
That's an excellent question.
Hopefully that shark stays in the water.
Anyone, if you are searching for such things as you're heading in, you're keeping an eye out for that. Please make a notice roll.
Okay. Not notice.
Well,
is
you
better.
could use survival actually if you
No.
prefer.
Well, notice is better for me. But I can use either.
Yeah, you can use whichever.
Okay.
In this case. Oh, okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, Marcel, you're able to keep an eye out, and you see there is, it's on the edge of the jungle here. There are places where there are these very spiky patches of grass that you think you want to avoid. You do hear some animals that are out there that are probably best avoided. But you kind of get a sort of a sense what direction they might be in, so as to try to kind of keep away. I will say that, Elijah, you actually are able to, as you're getting further into the interior, you can identify some of these things a little more positively. Those patches of spiky grass are stench grass that are mostly the apparent, it's not found in a lot of places here, but you did read about it. That it's a type of grass that essentially, if you get too close for it, there is an aroma. It can actually sort of spike you and make you pass out, and be a nice, delightful meal for some of the creatures. So it's basically a thing that it's basically they have a it's basically like sort of an anesthetic almost. There are you can hear in the under there are some crabs on the beach, sort of on the east side that you think you're going to want to avoid on the east side of the river, because they're particularly large crabs. And you think, just looking at the type of jungle, you probably want to keep an eye out for very large centipedes and things of that nature. Also, Elijah, something else that's a little is that you notice there is like a sign of something, and you don't know what it is, but as you're all walking across the beach, there is some there is some sign of a passage of something. It looks like there are creatures that come out here. And what everyone is going to notice sometimes is that as you're stepping forward, the sand crunches a little bit underfoot, and there are places where apparently there's glass in the sand. Kind of probably looks like kind of the result of being superheated. The sand being superheated and turning to glass.
Maybe this place gets a lot of those lightning storms.
Someone's been dragging through here. You see these tracks here?
I have no idea what sort of thing could have made them.
I know. Well, watch out for the stench grass and for the centipedes and, and the crabs over yonder. See them? Biggins.
Yeah, they're over there.
They're like crabs and not the people crabs, right?
No, they're not Scarillians. They're just really big crabs.
Okay.
You can tell because they're not wearing hats.
There
are other things you can tell them apart by, yeah.
Kistris will pick up some of the glass and just drop it in his satchel.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's you've not seen probably not seen this type of glass before. Yeah.
I think that that Maps's grandson Cosmo would like some of this.
It's probably a good idea. Maybe we can bring a little extra back to the ship to study later.
Of course.
Totally. So, are you making your way into the interior?
Towards the temple-like structure.
Okay.
It's like, maybe I shouldn't call it that if that's not what it is yet.
Who knows?
Although clearly Maria does not believe in the leave no trace philosophy of going into nature. She's like, let's take this and go study it. I'm from the 1400s.
Awesome.
Perhaps it's the Temple of Gloom.
Temple of Gloom. So you're getting further into the interior, sort of whacking your way through the underbrush with any knives or If anyone has a machete, those come in handy right now. We'll say that Cook has a machete, which I should probably arm him with. I'll probably arm them with because right now they have a knife. I'm going to change that to a machete. Okay, there we go.
What?
And
okay.
Yeah. You're hearing these animals from a little further off. At this point, you can through the underbrush, and you the doctor's keen eye has helped you keep away from the patches of centipedes that are here. That are indeed here. As you get closer in, start getting up to these hills, and you notice that I'd like anyone who is looking out for things, which could be everybody, but whoever is specifically looking out for things, to make a notice roll for me now, please.
Always looking for things. Wow, Marcel just notices everything today. Everything.
Oh,
she drank her coffee.
For real. Oh my gosh.
So, anyone who made a single success, which I think is just going to be Elijah, you can see what is kind. No, you got a raise.
Oh, never mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You got an 8. Yeah. So everyone is gonna, everyone except for Kistris, is going to kind of find a sort of a path that goes up into these hills. And so obviously you folks are going to be able to get further up into the hills. As you go further, those of you who got raises, as you come closer and closer to this structure in the center, you're going to notice that it looks like basically almost like the top of a ziggurat type deal. Almost, it looks like, except there's not much ziggurat underneath it. It's just, just a couple of steps. And there's a thing that looks like kind of a shrine up there, and the whole thing's covered in vines. But those of you who got a raise will notice that there are signs that some of the vines have been cleared away from the area where the steps are, because the steps are pretty clean. Also, you will notice that, and it's subtle. Those of you again who got raises will notice this from just sort of off to the side of where this place is, where that ziggurat starts, but inside sort of an area sort of down, a little further down, like part of, down the hillside, there's a little curl of smoke coming up. And then Marcel will notice something extra. The thing that Marcel notices, because you take a second and you turn around and you look down as you're heading up these hills, and you're starting to realize the higher here you get, this entire island actually does have kind of a slope going on. It's a gradual slope. But there is an incline that goes from like about the center of the island down to the beach. So as you were walking your way up, and you were it was feeling like it was a little, just a tiny bit harder than walking normally. Not a huge amount harder, just a little bit more effort. You realize it was because you were moving up an incline the whole time. And it seems that way, basically almost, you can see down to the south side of the island, you can see kind of all the way over to the west side of the island. It's the slope seems to come downward from the middle, as far as you can tell.
Oh, someone is here, and then I would point out the smoke to everyone.
Perhaps we should go talk to them?
I don't mind following any signs of life, but it could just be a forest fire or something. I don't know. I don't think in any of the things that I've read there were any indications that people would be living on this island, but...
The grass that's been cleared off of the steps, does it look like it was cut, or does it look like it's not growing there?
Well, as you get closer up to the steps, you do see that it looks like somebody cut it.
I'm actually kind of interested to see if there are any, like, writings or markings of any kind that's maybe decorating this ziggurat, because Maria's whole thing is, like, languages for research and stuff, so I was wondering, does she notice anything that looks like it's some kind of written record?
Not from out here, no.
Okay. Is there, like, an interior place, or the steps are just leading up to the top of the structure?
The steps are leading up to this little, it looks actually, it might not even be big enough to be considered a temple. It might be more of a shrine, but it is big enough for a person to go inside. It's, for a few people, it's a, something that looks like it might be sort of a 10 square foot type deal. Sort of stone structure.
I'm a little curious to see if there's anything up there. You mind just a moment? Then we can go investigate that fire.
Yeah, we can check this out.
Let's go.
There's always a small chance that this, and then the little clockwork piece she holds up, belongs here after all this time, and I wouldn't want to overlook it.
All right. Now, as you are getting closer, and I'm just continuing to go off of the previous notice rolls, so this will be everyone but Elijah and Kistris. You're going to hear something. Actually, let me check something. I'm gonna roll something real quick. Just gonna make a real quick roll. Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right, yeah. Everyone but Elijah and Kistris will as you get up to this structure, you all are going to notice what sounds like something moving in the undergrowth. And it's very nearby. There's something very nearby.
I would like to move forward, but very quietly and slowly.
Okay. Is everyone still just moving forward, or is anyone doing anything else?
Kistrus has no reason to do anything else.
I would like put my arm up to like stop everyone from moving, like something is coming, and just keep my hand on my sword.
Yeah. As you're sort of turning and you're now looking, since you stopped for a second, it seems as though there is a person. From the way that they're moving, sort of in the bushes, and you think they're looking out at you.
Come on out. We already know you're here.
And sort of you'll hear this being called out. What sheep are you from?
The reliable.
Reliable.
Reasonable.
You lie to them. They're just, and he's sort of like, they're sort of like, all right. Is that an English ship?
No.
I
don't think it was specifically.
I don't think we specified, but
yeah.
Yeah. And in this context, English probably means more not so much English as from Baltimus, probably, or being on the someone being sent out by the East India Company.
Then no.
Definitely not us. No.
You see this. You see a Doreen appear, and Perry, I think this is probably someone you recognize. This is Chav. Perry, tell me what your relationship is to Chav.
Chav is my cousin.
And what are their pronouns?
He, him.
Okay. You have not seen him in a very long time. This is did you? Quick question: did you participate in the swim? Are you old enough to have participated in the swim? Which I assume you were. Actually, if you're more than 13, you did. So yes. So yeah, you haven't seen him since the swim. Or the aftermath thereof. And he stumbles forward. He's looking kind of worse for wear. He's looking very thin. He's wearing, again, not wearing much in the way of clothing, but he's what he has is sort of very, very makeshift. As he cautiously steps forward. Are you real? Am I seeing things?
Last time I saw you, you were a little fatter and shorter.
Barry, are you real? Is this you? I don't know what's real in this place anymore.
Well, come here.
And he's like he's practically in tears, but he will step forward, just like not really fully believing what he is seeing.
And I reach out so he can, kind of put my hand on his shoulder so he knows I'm actually a tangible being.
He will, he'll sort of touch you. He's like, oh God. How are you here?
It's a long story, but I joined the crew and we were hired to find the mysterious island.
Oh my goodness. And you see that he's just sort of like he's very he's a little out of it, but he's okay. But he's it's just like, oh my God. Who on whose hire?
What? You hired the crew?
Yes. You're not out of Baltimore, are you?
No.
Thank goodness. I got here. Ona didn't make it.
I'm sorry. Sorry I could not get here sooner.
What happened to you?
Yeah. You're on one of MacLeod's ship. We went and it was eaten by a very large shark. But I did not want to go to the place to find more of those things, and it was between me and the land, so I remembered the way back here. I swam back here. I don't know how I survived. And you do kind of see, actually, as he's looking at him, he does on him, probably on his shoulder, he does have the mark of the East India Company. It's showing that he was pressed into service for them.
I'm guessing part of the McBride expedition.
McBride, is out of his mind. He started a damn colony on Torethka.
A colony?
He'd landfall, tried to defend it. Every day is a fight against the Ugaks. But he insisted. And when he sent us back on a ship for supplies, that's when we ran across this place. But
well, do not fear.
Everyone was killed. Was killed by those titanic animals.
Do not fear. We have a ship. We can get you out of here.
What did you say brought you to the island in the first place? This particular island?
We came across it.
Mm-hmm.
And our captain decided, as we were attacking through, we ended up really, it was more by accident than anything else that we saw it in the first place. We ended up going the wrong direction. Yeah. direction. I told him, but he didn't didn't seem to wish to listen. And so we came in this came through some storms or some of it. Told us to come out and look. Get a better look at the island, see if it was worth anything. And didn't see anything but things with breathing fire on the beach. We turned around right after that.
Heard of these things. Not seen them yet.
No, they're out there. They happen sometimes when the change happens.
What do you mean, the change? Like one of those crazy storms?
The whole island shakes, and then things are different.
What do you mean by different? Like, does the island change itself?
Things move. The beach moves. The rocks move. The rocks move. The beach moves. The trees move. I camped here because this is seems to be one of the most stable places. It doesn't change so much. It still changes, but not as much.
Well, it certainly explains a lot. What is it about Baltimus again that it was that you found so terrifying? We haven't had much occasion to go there exactly.
I don't want to be captured and brought back to work for them again.
Ah.
I've not paid my debt yet.
Well, I don't think you'll have to worry about that from any of us.
Kind of gesturing towards the ziggurat bit. Kistris, I'll say, do you know anything about this? What this is?
What are you pointing at?
The sort of ziggurat structure.
Looks at it. Sort of looks and he says, "Oh, it's some old place. Bunch of. I went up. Sometimes I take shelter from the storms. They come sometimes in there. It's they don't come very often, but a lot of the beasts don't like to come up here, so I take shelter from them as well. Got a bunch of carvings in there.
Carvings. Maria, did you hear? Carvings. We should go see those.
I wanna give Chaz? Is that his name?
Chav.
I would like to give Chav some provisions since he looks like he's starving.
Yeah, he's like just looks at him and he's like, thank you. He will immediately. He's very grateful, and he immediately begins like tearing into them. He's like, oh, I never thought ship rations would taste so good. I've been having to live on whatever I kill.
Make yourself sick.
It's at least some variety. The centipedes aren't that bad, but they are an acquired taste. He just basically sits at the foot of the stairs and starts going.
Yes, I do think we should go take a look at those carvings for sure. But at least Kistras and myself can go if others want to hang back.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, do you know anything about that smoke over there?
Oh, that's mine.
Okay.
I was cooking some beetles.
Are you the only one on this island?
The only person that I know of.
Okay.
And he was between bites.
I don't think we should do too much splitting up on an island that's changing and shifting.
It's probably a good idea.
So let us all go then.
Hensley just sort of is looking up at the temple, just sort of with a bit of trepidation. Is like, I can stay out here with him if you like.
Yeah. Why don't you two keep an eye on the boat? Or, yeah, the boat.
Well, yeah. So you want them to go back to the beach, or?
Oh, I thought we took the boat up the river.
Oh, I was not thinking about that. Did you? Yeah, I mean, you could have done that. I for some reason I thought you were on foot.
I had that in my head.
I think we had climbed up some trails or something going into the hills. But make sure he stays in the shade and doesn't overdo it.
If you want, you can mark where you would like the boat to be, and as far as just click for me, and it will be there.
Can you see where I'm clicking?
You need to hold down. It's click and hold down.
Okay.
So about there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then you were able to get off and go up the trail from there. That's fine. From there, yeah, you could see that the river goes a bit further down. You didn't quite see into the lake, but you kind of you know the lake is there. You can see it now. You're up high enough. But yeah, your boat's going to be right about there. That's fine. So do you want them to go back down the trail to where the boat is?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay. So just so we're clear, you're sending is Hensley taking Chav down there? Is that who's going down?
Yeah.
All right, but Cook is Cook still with you? Or are you sending Cook as well?
I'd suggest sending Cook because if something dangerous comes along, I don't think those two can defend themselves.
Probably not.
About as well as most of us can tie ourselves down in a storm.
Yeah, I mean, Chav's okay. Chav can probably, but yeah. He's survived here, but yeah. So yeah, so Cook will take the two of them down. We'll start down with two of them. As he's nodding. And yeah, the rest of you head up into this little sort of shrine. There is some light filtering in from, there's not really, there's a window sort of in the back of the shrine that you can, out of which it sort of points and you can see across to the lake from there. It's a very good vantage point to see the lake and the cliffs above the lake. And you can see basically from here the lake and the two little rivers that go out. And the very steep plunge before you get to the lake. But arrayed around this shrine on the walls, the walls are fairly thick, but was it on the walls? No. They're on the floor. 'Cause that's actually what I wanted to do. On the floor are a number of symbols. You see hewn into the rock. These big tiles on the floor. And they are the ones that I have just presented to you. There are a dozen of them.
There's that one that is the third column left to right, the second one from the top. Is that the one that matches? Does it match the symbol that we found on the clockwork device?
Third from
column,
the left.
second from the top. The
Third
one
column,
that's a
second.
circle with
Third column,
4...
second row. That
Yeah.
one? Yeah, it actually looks a lot like it.
What does this mean?
Do you think it's evidence that this is where this came from, perhaps?
Maybe a promising lead. I'm gonna take out the device and just see if, like, it wakes up or something. I don't know. Just, like, take it out and see if something happens.
Okay, so what would you like to do with the device?
I guess just take it out and maybe, like, hold it up to near where the symbol is that I just mentioned and, like, compare the two.
So you get down on the floor and...
Yeah, I think so. Close-up look.
Make a notice roll for me, please.
Okay. Let's see. Notice. Let's see. Would this be the kind of thing that my... Oh, wait, no, that's already included. Sorry. Oh! 12!
2 raises.
Yay!
Yeah, there's something different about this tile. It's, like you can actually see the seams that seem to actually go deeper than the other tiles in this floor.
Does it seem like it's the kind of thing that you would push on, or the kind of thing that you would need to insert, like, a key of some kind into?
So as you're kind of looking at, do you touch the tile as you're looking at it?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. So as you go down, you sort of nudge it a little. You realize that it's probably a little heavy, but it's movable.
Somebody give me a hand. I think maybe we could lift this out of here.
Guess this is just already right there.
Yeah.
You work your squid fingers in, pulling up. This this big rocky tile moves, and underneath you see what looks kind of like an indentation that's been carved into the rock beneath. And actually, it's not rock, because it's like it's like sort of greenish. This kind of it's like a kind of mold almost. Not really mold though, because as you're looking at it, this is kind of what happens. You got a 12. This is what happens sort of when metal oxidizes. And crap builds up on it. But it's this round indentation in there.
What do you think?
I think maybe we should try seeing if it fits in here or something.
Perhaps clean it out first a bit.
Yes. Just imagining those like comically large archaeologist like paintbrush that you use to sweep off like old dinosaur bones or something. Just clear it out and
Yes.
find it, what we can find.
Yes, you get some Drano. No.
No!
No, okay.
Pour in some sparkling mineral water.
Yeah, pour in some sparkling mineral water.
Something less like abrasive than Drano on the ancient thing.
Oh, okay. You clean it up. You clean it up a little bit. It's I mean, some of it's set in, so it's not like, but it's you can tell this is definitely this is something made of metal, basically. This is a metal indentation in something.
Does it look like the clockwork would fit in there?
Well, you look at it, and yeah, there's a place where it looks like it might.
I'll hand it to Kistris and say, do you want to do the honors?
Yes. And just immediately just kind of...
No, wait. What if we start something and we don't know how to stop?
Kistris is ignoring the
He
doctor.
wishes to grab life by the face.
No. I mean, it's happening.
Kistris puts the device into the socket, and you hear a click. And the device itself, and it clicks into place. Nothing immediate is happening, but it definitely looks like it fits there.
Kistris pokes it a couple of times.
So, as you do, I think you probably bump one of the things that looks like a clock hand. And as you move it a little bit, you hear a rumble.
Had to grab the clock by the face, didn't you?
And the rumbling kind of continues, and then you notice it's sort of going... The clock hand starts moving around.
It's working!
And the earth shakes beneath you all.
What does working mean? What does working mean?
Well, we'll find out right now, won't we?
It's changing the island, like Chav said.
So you all sort of are looking either out the... Is anyone looking out the door or out the window by any chance? Just out of
Harry is
curiosity.
looking outside.
So
I am also looking
I've just left my
outside.
cousin by the river.
the island, as you're looking out, and the entire island is rumbling, and it's like pieces of things are moving in these hexagonal segments, almost, you might say. But it's kind of like things are just sort of slamming around and clicking into different places all across the freaking island. Everything, it's very difficult to continue standing up. And some of you are sort of thrown about a little bit as this happens. And as you sort of glancing out the window, you notice that the cliffs change a little bit to one side, and a massive waterfall
Stop moving!
begins coming out of the cliffs in a very, very specific. It's like this window is pointed exactly at that place, and you see this waterfall appear as it cascades down. This rumbling happening. This waterfall cascades down into the lake below, where you see something has changed about the cliff face behind the waterfall a little bit. But there's something that's as if basically very, very, very definitively you see this happen. And then ultimately, after a minute or two, the rumbling sort of stops. And the island has changed.
Oh, man! Is that, like, serpent thing that's in the river, is that there because we can see it, or is that just there for map flair?
As you peer down toward the river, it takes a moment, but you do notice there's something in there after a few minutes, and it's again just sort of a thing, a head on the end of a long sinewy neck rises up.
This
and
is
starts
amazing!
swimming around in this lake a little bit. As you can see, the river has widened considerably. Now rolls through the center of this place. And
I think we should check on
there's a
the
center
boat.
point.
Can we see our ship, like, from this area? Like, from this temple?
Yeah, a couple more things have happened, by the way, also. By the way, so you left your ship actually just to the
Ship is
west.
Out at sea. The boat.
You
that
can
we
s-
took up the river.
You
However,
can see the ship. The ship seems okay. It's a little further back than it was.
I
As it
am
appears, this disturbed the water quite a bit.
about Mr. Cutter.
You also, looking outside the temple, notice that the hills have formed these bridges.
The hills are alive!
Are they not? That one bridge is now it's now the path that led up here is now a very solid, wide path, as though made by a living being, made by a sentient being. And then there's another path on the other side of the temple that goes down to the edge of the lake.
Is the clockwork still moving, or has it stopped?
The clockwork has stopped now.
Okay.
It ticks to a stop, and it's done.
Okay.
Just might as well put it back. You know, don't want that thing just crawling around and doing whatever it wants. Right.
Maybe
Is
we
this
could
not
figure it
amazing?
out, but I agree.
You know,
It's
it is
incredible.
amazing. It's incredible, and I'm very glad to have been here to see it. But also, what is that? Can we put the island back? And yes.
Well, there's one way to find out what it is. We can just get a little closer and see what we find.
Yeah, just go down there and just let the beast just have a little nibble.
I'd hardly let it do anything, but this is how I go.
I will point one thing out also that you're that you're noticing as you're kind of looking out. Yes, you do see this beast, and you do see that outside along the beach, you are now starting to see some sort of creatures moving. And they look kind of like sea lions. They're sort of golden in color. And they're moving across the beach. And wherever there is beach at this point, which is there's beach in different places now. Very occasionally one of them spouts fire from its head.
Oh, I've never been a
Well-
religious man.
Looks like the Glass Blowers Guild has gone to work.
Man, necessarily, but fire breathing, whatever's going on there, and that serpent thing.
There is a lot going on.
We have nothing to worry about, though.
But we could maybe reset, put the island back on the one without the fire-breathing critters on it.
Yeah,
Well-
nothing to worry about.
But
How not?
don't we want to see some of these things first? I mean, it would be a shame to have them right there and
I'm
not
seeing
at
them.
least find out what they are.
Oh, I'm seeing them. Tusks, breath, it's hot. I'm seeing them.
How about the serpent? Have you seen the serpent?
Oh, I see it. It's right there. You know, I mean.
So you
I'm
see
not a
serpent.
naturalist.
Yeah, as you look out at the
You
serpent,
see serpent?
Yes, I see the. Yep, you did that.
as you look out at the serpent, by the way, it doesn't seem to be doing a lot. It's just sort of like circling toward the north end of the lake, which is now, it's a lot harder to delineate what the north end of the lake is, since it's now basically a river, a very wide river. But then you kind of spot at the opposite end of that lake, sort of spinning in. So it looks like maybe it's it's hard to tell from this distance, but it looks like it's the underside of a boat with a couple of, with some people clinging desperately to it,
Uh-oh.
toward more the south end of the lake.
Is that where we left the rowboat with...
Looks
Oh.
like our crew.
Now we have to go. We have to.
We have to go back to save our people, and the only way to
Yeah.
do that is to go through where the sea serpent is swimming around, so...
And we do not know for certain that the sea serpent is necessarily hostile.
It is true. Although we did kind of mess up where it lives a little unexpectedly, perhaps.
It
So
doesn't
it's...
know that. It doesn't
That's
know it was us. I mean, if this island changes regularly, like we've been led to believe, maybe this is just something it's used to. Maybe it's something it did. Maybe it has a
Maybe-
big lever at the bottom of the lake, and it
Maybe it
just
doesn't
pushed
eat
the lever.
meat.
I hope so.
Okay, let's save our crew.
Yes! Let us save the crew in a most heroic fashion.
I mean, we're going. I'll just let you know, a lot of things don't eat meat. Still mean as vinegar, just letting you know.
I will take the clockwork key thingamabob out of the place where we put it.
Yeah, you
just
pull it out.
in case we need it for
You just
something.
click and then pull it up. It's fine.
Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't, blow up the world, but yeah. We can
See,
go.
it worked. It worked. I knew it would work.
Yes, let's go help the rest of the crew. I really hope they knew how to swim.
You're never going to get these two to leave the island.
You're not.
We're just gonna live here, grow old.
You live here now. You start dashing down the path. I'm guessing you're down toward the lake, I presume?
Yes, down towards these struggling rowboat people.
So, yes. So, you run down.
So I get close enough to dive in the water, I'm doing it.
Okay, well, as you get closer, I will tell you what you see. So right now, still the serpent, who is also itself kind of sort of golden colored. Looks like basically a head, and then looks like it's got sort of a wider body. And it's sort of just hanging out again at the north end, and it's it hasn't looked in your direction yet. But you see, you can identify that clinging to the boat is right now. Clinging to the boat, you can see you see Chav, and you also see Cook. They're both clinging to the boat right now.
No sign of Hensley?
No sign of Hensley.
Oh no!
But yeah, so Perry, you're immediately going to dive in, I presume. Okay. What is everyone else doing whilst Perry is in the water?
I think looking around and just being like, little boy, are you still there? Make some noise if you can hear us, if you need help.
So as you're calling out, I will say, so you're calling out. What's everyone else doing?
How far away is the boat from us?
It is... it's drifting closer to the center of the lake at this point.
My plan, depending on how far away things are and how well this spell works, is to use Zephyr to just blow it towards one end of the lake.
Okay. Yes, that sounds reasonable. So go ahead and make your spellcasting roll so we can see what the results of that are before anything else happens. Okay. That's going to be a success. What direction do you want to blow it in?
Whatever the closest edge to them is.
Let's see. You could probably... Yeah, I mean, you could. They're a tiny bit closer to the other side. You could put them over there if you want.
That's fine.
Probably. Okay. That process is beginning. What's everyone else doing?
I guess I'm shouting with Maria for Hensley if he's around.
Okay. And Marcel, what are you doing?
I would like to just assist Parrot from the shore. So I have a crossbow. If the sea serpent looks like it's gonna go for her, I would shoot it.
Okay.
For them.
All right. Perry, where are you heading?
My thought was to head to the people stranded on the overturned boat. And now they're moving. So
Well, yeah. Up to you.
I guess I'm still heading in that way, but I am keeping an eye on the sea serpent in case it turns toward them.
So, as you're swimming in that direction, and you're getting a little closer, you'll see Cook sees you, and will call out, "Hensley's down there somewhere. We haven't found him yet." And also, Marcel, in particular, Perry, you'll kind of notice this as well. Marcel, you will notice this. As the others are calling out, you will notice that the sea serpent reacts to that, and is now slowly turning around and starting to head toward your side of the shore. And sort of seems to be following the sounds of people yelling.
One hopes it is fully aquatic and cannot climb out.
One hopes. One hopes indeed.
Uh-oh.
But at least it's distracted from the person who went in the water with it on purpose.
This is true.
So I guess I'm gonna dive down and start looking for Hensley.
Okay. You plunge in, and I would like you to make a notice roll for me, please. Would you like to spend a penny?
Yes, I would.
Okay, let me go back to the one problem with doing it this way is I have to check to see who's spent bennies at what point. Because unfortunately it doesn't always transfer to everything. Okay, yeah, I'm only catching that one. Yeah, sure. Okay, you spend a Benny, and go ahead and reroll. Ah, excellent, you got a raise. You're going to spot two things. First off, you see Hensley. He's like trying to swim his way back up. A little further down, though, you notice underneath where this waterfall hits, there is some kind of enclosure down here. It looks like it's been carved into the rock. There's something in there.
Does Hensley look like he's going to get to the surface okay? I think I will make sure he gets back to the boat first before I go treasure hunting.
Well, let me find out. I'm going to roll something real quick. He got a 4. So actually, he looks like he's struggling a little bit, but he might actually make it. Okay. You might want to help him a little bit.
Yeah, but, I'm gonna assist him getting back to the boat before I go treasure hunting.
Yeah, so you actually are grabbing Hensley and bringing him up to where the other folks in the boat are.
Just
Meanwhile,
kick hard up to the surface.
Yeah. Meanwhile, so the rest of you have this serpent coming in your direction, and you see it's getting closer. It's got these big saucer-like eyes, big dark eyes, and there's something weird looking about it. As this golden lake creature gets closer and closer.
Are sea serpents common? Like, is it normal for people to encounter them?
They exist. So it's not like this is it's not like this is a mind-shattering thing. But you've never seen one like this. There's something weird looking about this one in particular.
Well, I'm gonna ready my weapons, I guess.
I was gonna ask if it seems like it's advancing on us, like with its jaws gaping open, or is it like, what is its demeanor?
Yeah, it's like, and that's the weird thing. It's very hard to read. It's like it's got this very sort of stony expression.
Okay.
Just like, and yeah, it does look kind of weird. And as it is getting closer, and you also notice it's not fully, I don't know if you would call it a serpent per se, because it's not actually fully a snake. It's, like I said, it's got kind of a wider body, and it seems to be swimming using things that are fin-like things underneath it.
Plesiosaur shaped.
Yeah.
Yes, very much like a plesiosaur.
That's what I've been imagining.
And it's coming up to the point that it sort of pauses, it stops, just short of the shore. And it's looking kind of down at you at this point.
Hello!
It's opening its mouth.
That's a hello.
And a cone of
Please
flame
don't eat
comes
us.
Issues forth from inside.
Oh, I was really hoping it wasn't gonna do that.
So, those of you who are greeting this creature, please make an agility roll.
Yep. That'd be Maria.
I'm glad I jumped in the water.
Oh gosh. Agility, agility, agility. Okay. No, thanks. I'm gonna use a penny to re-roll that, please.
Okay.
That's better. 9 is way
That's
better
much
than
better.
2.
Let's see. Marcel, do you also wish to use a Benny here or no?
Yeah, I think I would like to.
All right.
I think curiosity grabbed us by the face. And it's kind of
Nope.
squeezing
Okay.
really hard
Alright,
right
I'm just
now.
gonna eat that, I guess.
Oh.
Remind me again. Where is Elijah again?
I mean, I guess I was following them, so I was following Maria, so I guess I should roll to get away from the serpent. That's probably fair. Ooh boy. Rolling that agility.
Yep. Oh, you're fine.
Boom! Amazing.
With that kind of roll, actually, I think I'm going to say you can actually grab Marcel and get them out of the way too.
Oh, come on! Oh, curse this island!
That's 3 raises. So
Wow.
yeah, this gout of flame comes out, and then it sort of sits there bobbing in the water again, just expressionless.
Well,
It's
if it's
just
going to attack
sitting
us, I mean, does it? If we move, is it like tracking us with its eyes or its head or
Nope.
Huh.
It's not really moving.
Is it a robot or
I
like?
was gonna ask that. Yeah.
like,
I was like,
is it a living creature?
It's
Like, is
hard-
it breathing?
I mean, it doesn't look like it's breathing very much. No,
It sounds kind of mechanical.
it's moving a little bit. It's not. Yeah, it's moving a tiny bit in the way that it's like this creature would need to move functionally.
Uh-huh.
Kistris? I think I'm gonna like. Is it? Well, okay. I'm gonna walk up to it and touch it.
Okay. You feel. Feels like clay.
Like hardened clay or soft clay?
Hardened clay.
Knock on it, see if it sounds hollow.
You make the knocking sound, and it seems to its head moves a little bit. Sort of starts looking down. Looks down at you. It doesn't sound hollow.
Gotta move out of the way of where it's looking.
Its mouth opens. You have moved out of the way, so it lets a jet of flame go down.
This is very unusual.
Kistris, actually, there is something I would like you to roll now that you have seen this close up. But I need to look at your skills so that I can figure out which one you should be using here. Roll spell casting for me, please. Okay, you got a raise. You have heard about this. This is a kind of a golem. type creature. This is you don't get to see these very often.
Kistrus,
But, this is an artificial being made with magic.
Looking back, this is a golem. Someone created this thing. It is not living.
You see it slowly turns its head in the direction of, as you say that.
And just kind of walk out of the way of where it's about to blast.
Opens its mouth.
How do we break it?
I'm not sure that we do. I think we just stay out of the way that it might blast us with fire. It could be that it was built to defend the island in some way.
It is following sounds.
Slowly turns its head.
Stage whispering.
Be very quiet.
Yes.
And now that you kind of know the pattern, it's sort of like it breathes another gout of flame. And then after a moment, as you're sort of whispering, it doesn't seem to be able to hear you.
Haha. So the real question is, if we go back to the ziggurat and we put the clockwork piece in and we change the island again, does this go away and put something else in its place? That's what I want to know now.
Has Perry come back yet?
Well, let's go over and talk to Perry. Let's find out what Perry is doing. Perry, you have you got Hensley to shore.
Hensley under the arm, so I drag him ashore.
Cook has him now. Is basically
Okay.
like. Sorry, I got him. Should we just wait over here?
Might be for the best.
All right.
Have I noticed that the
Yeah, as you sort of kind of look
monster
around,
is
you see
chasing
that
them around?
you see there's a sea monster sort of breathing at them, and then they just but they seem to be just sort of casually stepping out of the way of it breathing fire at them, which is really weird. And then they seem to be talking to each other quietly, and then it's not breathing fire at them anymore.
Let's just stay quiet.
Okay.
There's something in the water. I want to check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, Hensley is like, quiet.
And I will just sort of slip back under the water and go look at that thing.
Okay, so you go to look at the thing. And, so there is what looks like, and sort of, so you dive in, go down to look at the thing, and, as you are doing that, you kind of see this big, looks like a sort of covered in that green stuff. Whoa, oh, for proper nouns.
Verdigris.
See this verdigris, perhaps? See a door. Looks like a big kind of iron door. And which looks like there is kind of a big sort of chain across it that has some kind of device sort of fastening it at the center.
I get myself in trouble. Because if my party members can mess with mysterious objects, so can I.
What would you like to do?
Swim up to it and take a closer look at that thing on the chain.
You examine it. It actually looks, it's kind of hexagonal. And it looks kind of like a padlock. A weird padlock. Very old padlock. It's a big padlock. But it's a padlock.
I happen to carry on my person. Perhaps on a bracelet or necklace of beads and shells. A set of lockpicks.
Do you know?
I do. It's right in the title of my character. So, I shake my picks free, and I'm gonna open it.
Okay.
I'm gonna try.
Pull out your picks. Please roll thievery for me. Okay. I think your picks might even give you a bonus too, don't they? Or am I thinking of something else? I think the fact that you have the picks probably helps.
Question.
But, oh no, it's just you get a penalty if you don't have lockpicks. That's what it is.
Okay.
Okay. So it takes you a minute. Luckily, you can hold your breath for 15.
I certainly can.
So you're under the water for you're under the water for like a good 5 minutes as you're doing this. But after a moment, you hear this echoing through the water, so it's and it opens. And the chain sort of floats down and off. And this door is now unlocked. As it sort of, the chain starts pulling down, you notice that there's this mechanism. Again, there are more chains. It looks like there's this chain sort of on the side of it that seems to maybe move the door.
Okay.
Would you like to make use of that? Or... So you pull on the chain.
Yes, I would.
This door creaks open. Well, and you see that there is, as far down as you are at this point, you see that there's what looks like a very, very big, very wide tunnel.
Interesting.
It's an underwater tunnel that doesn't go too far. It looks like it goes a certain distance. You're fairly far. It looks like it goes a certain distance. Where you have to, there's, and then it sort of takes a turn. And that the water seems to be flowing in that direction. Not like overpoweringly so. But now that it's open, it seems to be kind of wanting to pull. It is kind of pulling at you a little bit, you feel.
Well, it would be a shame not to find out what's in there, since they've gone to the trouble of distracting the Guardian for me.
You want to go in and look? Okay.
I am the best swimmer that the group has.
You follow the current.
No.
You follow the current, and you're being helped by the fact that it's pulling you. In fairly short order, it turns and snakes downward. And it's pulling you even more quickly this time. Again, very wide corridor.
This is like every 1980s adventure movie with the water slide.
It kind of is, isn't it? Pulls you down and down and down. And then there's a place where it stops, it broadens out. And you swim forward. And you see that there's you can kind of just sort of barely make out. It's very dark, but you can kind of just sort of see that there is this body of water you've entered. And they're like you see the shapes of things floating in it. They look kind of like, you're not sure if they're animals but they're just sort of sitting there. Or the boats are animals.
Okay.
But then there's a surface that you can kind of see a little bit of light coming in.
I can go up and take a breath.
You can.
Because that might be important.
You swim upward. Your head breaks the surface.
Gently.
Very quietly, very gently, very carefully. And you see, under these very somewhat dimly glowing lights that are almost phosphorescent, but they look like they're actually lights that are coming up a little as you poke your head up, that you are at the center of you're in the center of a pool, a very large pool, almost the size of a small harbor, around which a number of odd-looking things are floating in the water that are like kind of metallic looking.
Okay.
And beyond that, it's this very wide platform with structures of buildings on it. And beyond that, all around, rounded, what looks like an ancient city wall. And far above,
Atlantis.
far above is a dome
Oh my.
made of hexagonal metal plates. And that is where we are going to end this week's session.
Where's Perry?
Boy, they sure haven't come up to take a breath in a while. I hope they're okay down there.
I think they're just dead. We should just leave them.
I know, right?
We had to sacrifice Perry in order to save Hensley. Oh no!
I don't like that trade. That's a.
I'm not saying I liked it. I'm just saying that's where Maria's mind might go in a second.
Awesome. Well, folks, you have found something inside the island. We're going to go around now and do our outros. And feel free to say where folks can find you and any thoughts you have about this session. Any final thoughts? And we will start with Anna.
Yes, my name is Anna. If you'd like to follow me on social media, you can find me on Twitter at Nymeria941. I also have a YouTube channel, Anna Goldberg, where I make videos about books and TTRPG stuff. And right now I'm doing a thing where I film myself building a hurdy-gurdy. That's going to be a working instrument at the end of it. So if you like what somebody described as like weird craftspeople noises as I'm hammering and sawing things, come check that out. Things that I liked about this session. I really enjoyed Maria and Kistris getting to be like party members that just want to poke things and see what happens. That's kind of different from characters that I usually play. They're usually a little bit less foolhardy, maybe. I also will say that like finding out the dragon or serpent was a sort of strange version of a Disney World animatronic was also pretty spectacular. That was a lot of fun. I definitely thought we were just gonna die there, but I was pleasantly surprised we didn't.
Awesome. Excellent. And now let us go over to James.
Hey, I'm James or Jimbeaux. You can find me at Silver Productio on Twitter, or the Bureau for Necromantic Affairs on Facebook. Favorite moment of the game, favorite thing about the game. I'm just digging the fact that we're now on Chaos Island, apparently. And yeah, much like with Anna, I usually don't play a charge forward no matter what fire-breathing golem might be in front of me character. And it's kind of nice to have that difference now.
Awesome. Excellent. Very cool. And now, let us head over to Ernest.
Hey everybody, I'm Ernest. You can find me on Twitter at Hollow Invective. You can see there at the top of my box. I don't really have a lot of content of my own, but you can find me on Mondays for the next few weeks on One Shot Onslaught. Let me put that in the link over in the chat over here. We'll be doing Dungeons & Dragons 5e, Dungeons & Dreamers. It's a round robin DMing game. I guess final thoughts for me are that normally I am the player that does all of these silly things, and you can and all the foolhardy things, and you can see that on Mondays. And so playing someone who's just like, no, please don't, please stop, please don't, is a bit different for me too. So that's fun.
Excellent. Oh, that's so cool. Awesome. And now over to Jenn.
Hi. You can find me on Twitter at Soup Duchess, which is in my box. I have nothing to promote. Take care of your mental health, I guess. And today was fun in that I totally didn't think y'all were gonna find us something to use the clockwork item. Like, I thought it was just gonna be a fun, I don't know, tchotchke that didn't do anything. But so that was a pleasant surprise that it made the whole island move around. And I also like how Marcel wasn't trying to take on any responsibility, and then it was like, you have to take this responsibility. And I was like, oh, okay. So that was fun. But yeah, it was a good time.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, I was a little trepidatious there, but I was like, no, there seems to be something in the character that they want to try to work towards. So I thought perhaps the captain would gently suggest that you might want to help out. Very cool. And finally, Alyssa.
Hi everybody, thanks for watching. This was a lot of fun. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Origami Shuriken. And Usually I'm playing on this channel. Occasionally I do stuff on my channel now. I might stream some crafting later this week. We'll see how things go. I have a lot of offline games though, so I would say it's a nice change of pace to have a character that is getting into trouble, but let's be honest, 3 times out of 5, it's my character that is getting into everything. Curiosity killed the cat, satisfaction brought him back. So it'll be exciting to find out what happens next time, what trouble Perry gets into, and whether or not the rest of the party finds them.
This is a great question. We shall have to see how this goes. Awesome. Well, folks, as for me, once again, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and some of my fiction and games I've been working on, along with links to game signups and applications to join our Discord. Also, just once again, I want to mention that this channel is involved in a donation drive for the Bale Project. We are Team Phyllis. I'll go ahead and put that link once more in the chat, and it's also on a panel down below. If you'd like to donate toward that, that is an organization that gives bail assistance to protesters, which is very increasingly important. Every time I say it's very important right now, it becomes more important every time I say it. So please check that out. Also, I just want to raise awareness about Campaign Zero, which is an organization dedicated to ending police violence. And I've gone ahead and put a link to that in the chat, so please go and check that out if you would. On this channel, next thing that's going to be happening is going to be Saturday night, possibly. Wait, no, not this week, because things. Yes, things. Unfortunately, I've had some things come up where I'm now having to stream things a little bit less. Just at the moment I'm going through a couple of medical things, so it's a little harder for me to do multiple streams in a day. So where I'm actually going to be this Saturday is over on Off the Table in the afternoon. I'm going to be participating in their Otterthon, and I'm going to be running a one-shot of Everyone is John, which is a comedic RPG in which everyone's vying for control of a single character. Everyone plays different voices in John's head and try to get him to do things. It is actually quite fun. So you want to go to off_the-table to check that out. We're going to be the first game in their Otterthon. It's a 12-hour marathon of games. So come and check that out Saturday afternoon. Sunday, not going to be. I've temporarily canceled the one-shots at this point. I'm not going to be able to. I was going to do a one-shot of Stille Nacht this Sunday, but it's. I want to, shall we say, be on the safe side. So Sunday night, we have our regular Dark Matter campaign, Ghosts of Saltmaw, run by Alyssa, who is an excellent station master, so please come and check that out as well. So we do basically fantasy sci-fi. It's in space. It's wonderful. Then, of course, Monday nights, I am over on Salty Sweet Games playing in their fantasy campaign that also has elements of sci-fi, Strange Invasion, Fantasy World, Alien Invasion. It's glorious. And then, of course, 1 week from tonight, Tuesday night, we have the finale of this mini-campaign of 50 Fathoms. And we'll find out what the deal is with the stuff inside the island and what's going to happen as a result. And so very much looking forward to that. So we will see you then. Right now I don't have any sign-ups running at this point. I actually do need to even take down the links that are up for Stille Nacht, which I did have open, but it's not, unfortunately, not going to happen right now. I might be able to run it at some point later. We'll figure that out. But what's going to happen now? Well, when we hit the end card, I'm going to send a raid over to somebody. Let's see. I haven't rated Scabby Rooster in a while. I think they're just doing Final Fantasy right now. So that's possible. There are a few different people doing things. Friends Who Roll Dice is doing stuff. Grant is playing something. I'm going to go ahead and check out those, and we will raid one of those people. So feel free to hang on if you so desire, and say hi to them with us. That again will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you next week. Farewell.